The Full Spectrum Podcast, presented by Champions and Legends. Champions and Legends produces hemp-derived CBD sports supplements for athletic preparation, performance, and recovery. This is the Full Spectrum Podcast with Big Data and Maverick, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. It is the Full Spectrum Podcast. Big Data, how's the week been, buddy?
You know, it's a little cool where I am. How about you?
Hey, those desert winds hit you hard, don't they? They sure do.
They really do.
They sure do. You know what? Had a great week. Everything was good. I'm still a little hungover after the Super Bowl. I don't know what to think. I mean, am I happy Tom won 7? Yeah. Am I excited? Yeah. Did I see him get hammered? Loved it. But now what? Now what? I got nothing. I got to watch Johnny Manziel run around in some weird like arena football, but it's not arena football. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Just pretend you're hanging out with Gronk in your basement.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, you know what I would? If Gronk was here right now in my basement, we were chatting it up. You know what I'd put on? A little Happy Gilmore. Happy 25 years. Happy Gilmore. Crazy. 25 years ago, that came out where him and Bob Barker went at it one-on-one in the sand trap, into the lake, into the water hazard, and all of it. And at the end, it was Bob Barker coming out, unanimous decision. TKO. What a fight. What a finish.
You know, really, who would ever thought there would be a cross-promotion movie made about hockey and golf? It's just stunning.
Makes sense, though. It makes sense. You know what, though? Later on, we're going to talk about it. Great sports movie. I feel like there's some other ones out there that might take the cake, but this one's up there for sure. You know, Adam Sandler, I've never been a huge fan, but during the pandemic, I have to admit, I probably watched more of his movies than I wanted to, but he's okay. I don't mind. He's got some ones in there that I can't help. You know, he's better.
Apparently, he's the biggest star in the world, if you ask Netflix.
You know what? Good point, man. Because you know, the one smart thing about him, he plays both sides. He gives you that little, he can play with the kids and be fair where you can leave it on and you can leave the room where the kids won't get too weirded out by it. And, you know, as an adult, you get sucked in a little bit going, you know what? I've seen it, but I'll watch it again. We're all suckers for it.
I can watch The Waterboy 6 days a week for sure.
And where was the water boy, Big Data? He was down in Louisiana, and screw you, Corona. You know why? Because you did something that I didn't think you could do, but you did it. You wrecked Fat Tuesday. Thanks a lot, COVID-19. You know, last year, epic, crazy party. Corona was just kind of rearing its head. It was kind of seeing, hey, who's out here? What's going on? And then a year later, we thought, hey, it'll be fixed by Fat Tuesday. Nope. Not even a little bit. Fat Tuesday, empty in Louisiana, empty down in Mardi Gras.
Now, Maverick, did you sell your shares in that bead company before COVID hit?
Sadly, I did not. I did not. I also forgot to sell my stock in pumpkins right after October as well. As you can see, I am not good at the stock game, Big Data.
I heard a few years ago you thought it was cool to use your Bitcoin to buy pizza as well. Is that true?
You know what? There are some places that were taking the Bitcoin. Now, not so many. Not so many.
I think I saw something on Twitter where some guy was joking in 2014 he bought 2 pizzas with his Bitcoin, and if he had kept it, it would be worth like 20 million today or something like that.
Well, you know what? That's why I'm really pushing on the CEO to start paying us in the Bitcoin, but he's been reluctant. In fact, he hasn't actually been returning any of my calls. Have you talked to the CEO at all?
Well, he said you should check your Dogecoin account. I don't know what that is, but
so you have spoken to him is what I got out of this. Let's see.
Well, you know, basically every day.
Oh man,
maybe
all right.
Twice today.
Well, from there, let's go over to, you know what? No, wait. There's one more piece of news I want to bring up. I want to bring up the name Tessica Brown. Who's Tessica Brown? It's the Gorilla Glue girl. This girl, a couple of weeks ago on Instagram, showed a crazy video where she's like, you know, I need to fix my hair. And she puts the Gorilla Glue in her hair. And I mean, it is I don't even have the right word. It was as though you were watching her rub a cue ball. That's how much the glue had, gone into her pores, stuck her hair right down to her scalp, where she had to go to the emergency room to get it, removed. Not because the emergency rooms aren't flooded with COVID. We needed Tessica to get over there and do it. However, the reason I'm bringing her up, she's suing a blogger. Hey, you bloggers, don't you be irresponsible out there and tell her that she's faking it, because she doesn't like it. She's going to come after you. She's going to sue you. And to the blogger, in all honesty, look, there are some things we all want to get popular. Sure. We all want to try to get onto get the $1 million follows and make the $1 million and all that stuff. But Gorilla Glue in the hair might be one of those limit things. Like, how far would you go, truthfully, Big Data, to get that $1 million or get 1 million follows? Would you put Gorilla Glue in your hair?
I would be just happy to have that much hair.
It's so true. It was a trick question. I wanted to see how you were going to answer it. I'm not gonna
Bastard.
All right. From there, let's go down under. Let's go down to the Australian Open. They are finally getting it underway. They had to quarantine because, hey, they all took the COVID plan. They all got it. So they all had to hang together in a hotel and kind of beat it, which they did. And Big Data, you got some news down under?
Yeah, so with the ladies down under, looks like we have one semifinal matchup that is a couple of nobodies, at least people I haven't heard of before. We've got the number 22nd player, Brady, against the number 25th player, Muchova. And then we got the prime time semifinal, Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka.
Oh,
that's basically the final right there. What
Yeah.
a juicy final that is. And then there's another game at the same time.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you know what? That one's a rematch. That one is where Serena actually got beat fair and square by Osaka a couple of years ago. I believe it was at the U.S. Open, and it was one for the ages. And I think there's a little redemption. Serena, from what you had told me a couple of minutes ago, has not won since she's had her baby. She has not won a major, correct?
She's been really close. She's been in many finals, but she hasn't been able to get over the finish line yet. Last time it was actually, it was the U.S. Open. The fans were cheering so hard for Serena. I believe it actually would have been for her to get that elusive 24th Grand Slam that she's been looking for. That's the one that'll tie her with Margaret Court for the most of all time. And after the match, previously, Serena felt really bad because Naomi was basically in tears as she had won, and the fans were against her. Serena was really upset that she lost, and in the end, she I believe she apologized to Naomi with the whole situation.
I think you're absolutely right. In fact, if I remember correctly, isn't this where Serena kind of had to withdraw, or she got kicked out, bro? That's what it was. She got kicked out. Remember, she got into a fight with the umpire and she got kicked out. Yeah, that's what it was. And that's why she apologized, because she didn't want Osaka to win it that way. That's what it was. I remember.
I don't think they kicked her out though. I think she lost a couple of points for arguing. I don't think anyone has the fortitude to kick someone out like that.
No, I'd be very scared. In fact, he's talking about kicking people out. Over on the men's side, our boy the Joker got a little upset today.
Yeah, it looks like Joker took it out on the actual court. He got pretty upset. He started slamming his racket a lot, and he actually scuffed the court up, which was pretty crazy. In the end, he pulled it off. He beat Zverev. He's going to be in the quarterfinals against an unranked fellow named Karatsev. And then we still have a couple pretty big quarterfinal matches to go. We got the Greek Tsitsipas against Nadal, and they've got Rublev against Medvedev. So we're going to have probably two pretty interesting semifinals. Djokovic, the number one seed, against an unranked fellow. And then it looks like we're going to have two pretty highly ranked, between seeds 2 and 7 in the semifinal. So pretty high-powered semifinal for the gentlemen.
I'm gonna go with the Greek Tsitsipas versus the Joker in the finals, and with home court advantage, even though there's no one in the stands, I'm gonna take Tsitsipas. Lots of Greeks down there in Australia. There's my Australian Open handicap of the week. There it is.
You and the tennis handicapping.
Listen, I got nothing. I told you I got no NFL. NBA is like in the middle. I can't sit there and watch LeBron all day and do everything. I need a little action, a little different. And look, with the Australian Open being like 15 hours ahead, I can keep covering myself. You know what I mean? Lose a little money here, gain it back on the night, or vice versa. It's actually quite nice to have some games on and on. I got to learn this cricket, by the way. I've got to learn how they score this thing. I don't feel like I understand it enough to put some money on it yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't put any money on cricket. It'd take you probably 6 to 7 years to figure it out, I think.
Yeah, probably. You know what won't take me 6 to 7 years? It's driving the lane with big data.
Oh, yes. Now, you might not be into the dog days of the NBA season already, but I am loving it. So far, I got a theory for you, Maverick. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
My theory is the West is amazing and the East stinks. That's my theory. It's not a difficult one to see so far. So I did a little analysis. The winning percentage so far of the East versus the West, the East is only winning 38% of the games against the West. The West is winning 62% of the games against the East. It is like a serious. Sorry, I didn't even say that. It's actually 63% of the games against the East because we're a little unbalanced so far. But yeah, so when we look at the Eastern Conference standings as well as the Western Conference, let's focus on the East first. Philadelphia 18-10. They're leading the East. But you look at the schedule and you go, well, that might be a little deceiving. They're 15-4 against the East. Mm-hmm. They're 3-6 against the West.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
And
okay. Simple math.
There you go. Like and on top of it, they've only played 9 games against the West. We have other teams that have played a high of 13 games against the West. So what we can see from that, there's a few teams that are a bit outliers. So a team doing really well against the West, the only team doing well against the West is your favorite team, the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes.
So far, they're 7-3 against the West. The only Eastern team above 500 against the West is Brooklyn. No one else is higher than 45%, which is the Indiana Pacers and they're 5-6 against the West. So what that tells us is, so Brooklyn is third in the East right now, and they've played 10 games against the West so far. They have 20 games to go with this. It's 30 games against the other conference this year with the shortened 72-game season. So what I can tell is Brooklyn, if they have a continued trajectory that they have against the West right now, they're going to make up a lot of games against the rest of these Eastern teams. And opposite of that, with the Philadelphia 76ers, if they keep playing this way against the West, they're going to fall in the standings. So key teams to see rising and falling in the East, I think you're going to see Philadelphia fall from first place in the East. They'll go down a little bit. And a team not doing so well so far this year, last year's Eastern Conference champions, the Miami Heat. They're only 11-16 so far this year. They're 7-11 in the East. They're 4-5 in the West, or against the West. So, they've only played also 9 games against the West so far, so they have a lot more games coming up against the West. I believe they're in 10th place in the East right now. So Miami looks like they're going to be fighting to get into the playoffs in the East, and they've got a lot more games against the West to deal with. So those are two teams that you can see going in the wrong direction in the East in the standings. And then I think you'll see Brooklyn is gonna shoot up the standings because of this. And then in the West, we have the Utah Jazz with the best record in the league, 23-5.
We
You're
talking about
talking
Utah?
about Utah. And okay, so they're 10-3 against the West. That's excellent. They are 13-2 against the East so far. They have been feasting on the East. Next up, we've got the Lakers, 21-7. They're 7-2 against the East so far. And then we've got the Clippers, 21-8 overall. They're 9-3 against the East so far. So if we take a look at the Western standings in those top three teams there, we could see, Utah has played, 15 games already against the East. The Lakers have only played 9. The Clippers have played 12. So I think you're going to see Utah have a hard time keeping that great record and top of the league record in the West, just because they only have 15 games left against the East, whereas, the Lakers have 21 left. The Clippers have 18 left. And then I'll give you one team that's, a little middling, a little worse than we thought they'd be so far this year. We've got the Denver Nuggets at 15-11. They are 4-2 against the East. They've only played 6 games against the East so far. So they have 24 games against the East to go. So I think we're going to see them rise pretty significantly in the standings. And then lastly, a team that's 5-0 against the East, 16-11 overall, in a playoff spot in the West, the San Antonio Spurs. So they have 25 games left against the East, and they're already in a playoff position. So I think we're going to see a team's having a hard time moving past San Antonio, and a team like Denver is going to shoot up a bit. So Utah might fall back a bit. I think the Lakers, the Spurs, and the Nuggets are going to move up, and a team like the Clippers can hold their spot the way they are. So yeah, it really makes a difference. How many games you have left against the East is gonna be a big factor in the standings of the Western Conference.
I like that. You know what? I'm going to call my bookie after this. He's been dodging my phone calls ever since I torched him in the Super Bowl. But I like that analysis of San Antonio's got a lot of Eastern games. I like that. Thank you, Big Data. That is big.
Take that for data.
Well, speaking of trades, speaking of guys that kind of just want a new scenery, really, at the end of the day, let's jump to the NFL. How are we going to talk about? Well, look, I said it last week. You're the data. I'm all about the drama. Now I take over. With the NFL season over, there's no stats to do some analysis on. There's nothing to look at yards per game and all that. Now you're dealing with the Maverick. You're going to deal with the guy that's going to give you the inside on the inside on all this stuff. There's 4 players, superstar players in the NFL over the last few years and still are, that have basically gone to their team and said, hey, I want out. Find me a new team, or I'll just find my own team and I'll let you know which team I want to go to. Big Data, let's talk about, obviously, Deshaun Watson is the biggest name right now, and there's a name that just as big that will go number 2, but we're going to start with Deshaun because we've kind of left him on the outskirts as all the Super Bowl has been going on. He's gone to his Texan owners, he's gone to the GMs, he's gone to everyone, gone to the media and said, I want out. Where do you see Deshaun landing next year? And why?
Honestly, I see Deshaun staying in Houston. So here's the problem now. His value, based on the other transactions that happen for quarterbacks, is so great that it's inconceivable that anyone could trade for him. Like, are you going to give up 5 first round picks for Watson? Are you going to give up, you know, 3 first round picks and 3 really good young players? Like, where does it end? Like, and for Watson as well, like, he has that no trade clause, so he can kind of help choose where he goes. Do you want to go to a team that has no future because you've gutted the team of all their draft picks? Uh,
I'm gonna give you a thought real quick. First pick overall, Jacksonville Jaguars. Everyone knows they're gonna go and grab Trevor Lawrence. What if Jacksonville says, "Hey, Houston, we'll take Deshaun. You take the number 1 pick." Would that be crazy? I know you said 5, and I agree. There are many first round draft picks they would probably get. But what if Jacksonville turned around and said, "Hey, Trevor, what do you think?"
so I think in that scenario, if you're Jacksonville, you would actually ask for more than just Watson. And
I
reason
agree.
being
Agreed.
is, you're going to have a cost-controlled quarterback for 5 seasons. Basically, as far as a draft prospect, you got Peyton Manning, and I don't even know if anyone else is on the same level as what they're projecting for Lawrence. So I would say if you want me to switch quarterbacks and I have to pay, instead of, 8 million a year, I have to pay a quarterback 40 million a year, you're gonna have to give me draft
Right.
picks. And guess
Exactly.
what? Houston doesn't have any.
I know it's crazy. And the only reason I brought it up is because it's been pitched around, I've heard through the media sites, and I thought to myself, it wouldn't be the craziest thing I've seen. I mean, last year we saw some weird things happening, especially with this Houston football team. Well, let's go to the other huge player that went to the owner, the McNairs, last week and said, "Hey, I want out." And he carried a $16 million cap hit. He's now relieved of his cap obligations with Houston. He's seeking to go. It's you, JJ Watt. And there's 3 teams in the running. It's the Green Bay Packers, the Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, all kind of in the running. And I've heard even a rumbling of Indianapolis. Big Data, which one do you think of those 3 teams, maybe 4, or an outside team, you think
Well, I
JJ's
think
going
it
to?
just makes so much sense for him to join his brothers in Pittsburgh. The Steelers have Bud Dupree as a free agent on the outside there. They could go cheap with JJ. I don't think he's going to be too expensive. They could have their super Watt defensive front, and I think the Steeler fans would love to have JJ. I just don't understand why a team as bereft of draft picks like the Texans would just let JJ go when they probably could have got a 4th or a 5th round pick for him. When you have no picks, you can't be the nice guys and just let the guy go wherever he wants. I think another mistake by Houston, and I think the Steelers are really going to take advantage of it.
I couldn't agree more. I don't know what Houston's doing. Going, "Hey, listen, yeah, we'll trade you. We'll decide, and we need to get something for you." Like, he was a great player for the Texans for so many years, and relieving him, very nice of you guys to do that. But at the same time, like, it's basically like work for free. Like, what are you guys
It's
gonna
like,
let
hey,
him go? It's kind of crazy.
you're a really
The
nice owner. Why don't we let you beat our team this week? I don't think that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll be honest, a little piece of me feels like he might go to Cleveland. I know he should go to Pittsburgh. I agree. I mean, the brother thing is kind of neat to find and see, and the storyline's great there. I will admit, as a Packer fan, it'd be fun to see him as a Packer. Wisconsin, that's his home state. He went to the University of Wisconsin. They're an outside chance, not I could see it happening, but I think you're right, Big Data. I think he goes to Pittsburgh for all the right reasons. From there, we go up to Seattle. Yeah, Russell for some reason has become a little outspoken, and he wants out. And here's the rumbling I heard today. No joke. Dallas Cowboys.
Well,
Thoughts?
I think a lot of people would want to go to the Cowboys. You look at someone like Dak Prescott, who, he was just making, his 4th rounder salary, and all of a sudden he was making, $5 to $10 million a year in endorsements as the Cowboys quarterback. If you're someone like Russell Wilson, you're like, hey, you know what? I need the State Farm commercial. I'm not getting enough. I'm just getting some Gatorade and some Beats commercials here and there. I want some more. I want some more high profile. I take a lot of private planes with my wife Sierra. I need some more money. Let's go to the Cowboys. It makes sense.
It does make sense. And you know what? Think about this. If Russell could score and do what he was doing with the team that he had up in Seattle, what could Jerry provide him? It's almost like the same team, really. One's up in the northwest part of the country, and the other one's down in the south. And when you think about it, both high-powered offenses, crappy defenses. He's really leaving one team to go to the same team, but the one difference is that Jerry, I'm sure, would provide him a little bit of more firepower or give him what he needs. Now, here's the thought on it. If I'm Jerry, I totally want this gig. And not because of I don't like Dak. Dak's younger and, has got the potential to still do it. But you're getting Russell Wilson, who, in my eyes, is a lot like Dak. Like, there's so many little similarities between these guys. I don't know, man. I say do a swap, little wife swap. There you go. You go. Dak goes to Seattle, and they'll give him the big money. And then, hey, the big money's already there, and Jerry's just taking over the contract. It's a perfect scenario for both parties.
I just think Pete's not going to let it happen. He'll take his shirt off. He'll show Russell about 30 push-ups and be like, "You want to leave this?"
That's a good point. Here's the last one. I mean, it's going to happen. We're just waiting to see which of the two teams it's going to happen. It's Carson Wentz. Philly said, hey, get lost. We hate you. We don't like you. And don't take it personally, Carson. They threw snowballs at Santa Claus. So where's he going? It's either the Indianapolis Colts to be reunited with Frank Wright, or the Chicago Bears are in the running. Who do you think Carson
Just for
goes
my
to?
own benefit, my own humor, I would love to see Carson and Foles back together again.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh my God,
That
how did
would
I
just
forget
be
about that?
the
Big
ultimate
Yes.
Bears move to pull
Yes.
something like that off. And it would just,
Oh my
for no
God.
other reason than that, I choose the Bears.
Oh my God. I'm so 100% with you. I completely forgot about that. Can you imagine he's the one that's going to go pick him up at
Uh,
the airport too? He's going to go to the air. He's going to go to O'Hare. He's like, hey, he's going to hold up the little sign and he's like, Super Bowl champ. Oh, and the arrow will point to Nick Foles. Oh my God, this is gold. Oh my God, I need this to happen so badly for the podcast and for life in all. This is amazing. And as a Packer fan, I just want it as well. This is fantastic. I love it. I love it. Big data. There it is. NFL in a nutshell. And listen, with that being said, we have to follow those stories. Those are all great stories, and it's going to be a fun free agency. Free agency is 6 weeks away, but I'm sure I'll have my little tidbits here and there going forward. From there, let's go to the great debate. It's everyone's favorite. Grab a beer, grab some whiskey, grab vodka, whatever you like with your friends, your family. Hey, maybe even your wife. Hell, who knows? And this week, great debate. We started it. It's the 25th anniversary of Happy Gilmore. Big data. What is the greatest sports movie of all
Now,
time?
for my viewing dollars, my favorite one, and what I think is the best one of all time, was Varsity Blues. Johnny Mox,
Oh, that's a good
the
one.
quarterback. His dad was a famous player. He had the famous quote where he said, "I don't want your life," which is still one of the greatest moments in movie history. The movie also spawned an excellent TV series. I'm gonna have to go with Johnny Mox and the Varsity Blues.
For me, it's a simple one. It's a no-brainer. That's a good one, but it's Major League, the first one. Not number 2 and not number 3. It's the first one. Charlie Sheen, Behringer. Hey, even get a little Wesley Snipes. It's the greatest sports movie of all time. Sorrento. Oh, man. I could go on and on and on about it. I'm sorry, Big Data. I'm going to just give myself the 100% nudge here. This is a no-brainer. Major League. Greatest sports movie of all time. Too many good parts. Way too many great things going on in that movie. I love it. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the Full Spectrum Podcast, right at your face, right at you. Just like the way Charlie Sheen used to throw the ball, nice and high. Give him the heater, Ricky. I loved it all.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for the downloads. That's it for us. Another week, and stay safe out there.
Darn. Give him the heater, Ricky. Give him the heater. So good, man. So good.
Champions and Legends produces hemp-derived CBD sports supplements for athletic preparation, performance, and recovery.
And then he slept with Dorn's wife.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
I'm telling you so many good parts.
I knew it.
You had to bring it up. It was the best part of the movie where he brought it up. I'm Susan Dorn. So good. So good. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Take that for data. The meatloaf!